So here we have the start of the women's double scull between the national crew from New Zealand and the national crew from Netherlands. And I'm excited still to have Helen Glover alongside me as we take a look here at this new Dutch combination this year, going for it in the double scull. They've wandered a little bit off to the start, but I think they need to make a good start, and they've done that very well. New Zealand double just wandering tight into the booms on the left, but I think they're going to be okay as we have a look here in De Jong in the stroke seat, in the bow seat, and Oldenburg Marloes in the stroke seat in front of us. And after that little lead I think they got in the first 10 strokes or so, I'm thinking the relentless power of the New Zealanders on the far side might start to pay, might start to burn and hurt the New Zealand, the Netherlands crew as this race gets going.
It's a good shot there when you see the two crews, because like you're saying, the power of the Kiwi crew is just very, very evident, and that comparison between the two as they're almost stroke for stroke there.
And what is it we can see going on there that's so powerful and strong?
I like the way that both girls obviously are really holding their core very, very strong, letting their legs do the work. So when the shoulders come in, they're coming in right at the end of the stroke. It's giving them a whole stroke of power to work with.
So those arms stay completely straight. They look strong, but they're completely straight, they're loose, they're just connecting the legs and the backs, which are actually then really moving the boat. And they're just getting a little bit more acceleration through those bodies, I think, than the Dutch double that really looks very strong as well to me here. It's just they're against very, very good athletes in the New Zealand boat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you compare the two, if you were to look at them time trialling, you probably wouldn't be able to choose between them, but you just see one or two little things that the Dutch are doing where they're slightly losing energy, maybe breaking their arms a little bit earlier than the New Zealanders, and that's what's making the difference.
Well, this is a very important bit of the race now, coming down here towards the barrier. The crews have settled into their paces, and as they come out now, that relentless pace of the New Zealanders just starts to pay. We see it from so many of their crews that they're not the quickest off the start, but when they hit their straps, when they hit their pace, they just keep churning it out, and the boat speed doesn't drop much.
No, and I think in this tailwind as well, if they've got this lead as they're feeling strong through the middle of the race, they'll try and relish that, and they'll try and move on with that tailwind, and they'll probably try and do what the French were doing and keep their rate up. I'm a little bit surprised at the fact that the Dutch are sort of steering into the booms there.
Yeah, the Dutch just letting themselves wander towards the booms a little bit. I think they've made that correction. In a double, of course, you don't have a rudder. One of the athletes tends to take responsibility for it and just try and use their blade pressures to keep the boat going where you want it to go.
I suppose the issue is that half the mind is wondering where the New Zealanders are, and the other half is trying to keep the work on, so steering sometimes might be the thing to go.
That's right, and you can see them just having to make an effort to keep the boat where it wants to, and they could be getting to that uncomfortable position where you just start to feel the weight from your opposition just coming down towards your bow, and you can see just the blue boat to the left of the screen there getting pushed around, and I think that is the weight coming in from the fantastic New Zealand boat. Brooke Donoghue and Olivia Loe powering down the course, and they'll be loving these tailwind conditions, because it was only 2 weeks ago they raced in Poznan. They picked up the gold medal at the World Cup #2, and in that they rode a 6:39, only 1.8 seconds off the world best time. Now they're going to set a Henley best time, because this is the first time this event's been at Henley.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that they're relishing this speed. As you say, they're used to rowing fast races in recent weeks, and so they know how to use these conditions. And just looking at their line, of course they're going to be confident because they're out ahead and they've got this great rhythm and their legs are working well together. But the fact that they're rowing such a good course, it is also the fastest course. It's the fastest way to do it. Go from A to B in the straightest line possible. And
it's a great sight, isn't it, when you're going along in a boat with the two of you, can just look out behind you and you just see that perfectly straight line of water, the puddles behind you, the steering markers that help the crews steer, and it disappearing into the distance, and you know you're just nailing it.
I think the difficult thing with steering in a boat like this without a rudder is that once you have to make one correction, the likelihood is you're going to have to correct again to get straight, and that can sometimes lead to just you making an S shape the whole way down.
Yeah, and that's right, and unfortunately that's what happened to the crew from the Netherlands. They had to make some corrections, but we see this relentless pace still just coming, just churning it out from the New Zealand boat. So they're at 35 strokes a minute, but they're powering along. They look so good. on the right-hand side of our shot. And Helen, I'm tempted to ask you just to this point, what you feel about these women's events coming into the regatta, how you feel that you didn't get a chance to race here as a pair, and now you're having to watch women's doubles and women's pairs on the Henley Royal Regatta course.
I mean, it's only a good thing. Yeah, I'd never complain about not being able to race here in the pair, because it's just great that people now can race in the pair. And hey, who knows in the future? I've taken this year out, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but you watch women racing here and you think it is just fantastic.
Sounds like fighting talk from Helen Glover. Who knows whether we could see her back out of retirement. We've seen the New Zealand pair going so fast, taking a time away, that world best time, and who knows what the future could hold in terms of women's pairs rowing. But today it's about, on this course, in this race, it's about women's double. And what a fantastic display we're seeing from the New Zealanders on the right of our picture.
And what I think is really interesting about the Dutch crew is that for the second or third time this regatta, there's a former swimmer. The Oldenburg used to be a swimmer, and I think there's a lot of talent transfer coming into rowing from other sports, and swimming seems to be one of the sports that's coming over to rowing.
Well, it just gives a great physiological base, doesn't it? She took up rowing only 6 years ago, at the age of about 22, and now she's managed to get up to the rowing at this level in the Dutch national team. This double scull will most likely continue, certainly to Lucerne. The Dutch are still looking for the right combination. I think the New Zealanders are going to be pretty sure they found a great combination here.
Yeah, it's a great proving ground for these people, but for people who it's their first time at Henley or their first international season, racing one-on-one is totally different to racing six abreast. It's 6 other nations beside you. This is a real test.
Well, it is a real test, and it looks like a test that the New Zealanders here are going to pass with flying colours as they come up in front of the enclosure, still going along at that relentless 36 strokes a minute, churning it along. They're going to set a time which could be hard to beat as the years go by, and this women's double scull will be competed for years to come, but their names will highly likely go down in the record books. They'll certainly be written on the trophy for the first time, and they can feel proud of their performance. Fantastic from Brooke Donoghue and Olivia Loe winning the women's double. And now we see the crew from the Netherlands coming over the line. And there's confirmation of that win in the women's double, the New Zealand double over the crew from the Netherlands.